Right, good afternoon and welcome to a sunny Rhyl Miniature Railway. My name's Simon Townsend and this is
Justin Bell.
and we're here with the second of our locomotive series, all about the Cagney locomotive which we've got here. This could be quite a long video. If you just want to see it operating, you can skip to the end, but there's quite a lot we can tell you about it. We've put it in steam for you because at the moment all our steam locomotives in our main collection are all in working order. So if you wait till the end of the video, we'll show you how it operates. So this engine, I believe, is American, Justin, is that right?
Yes.
So what features has it got which show that it's American?
Well, it has a cow catcher on the front. The lovely bell that American locos have.
Right.
And the silly sandpot in the middle.
Right. And what type of frames has it got?
It has bar frames.
Yes, right. And bar frames are quite unique to American engines. No British engines were built with bar frames, is that right?
That's right, yes.
Yeah, more or less. Okay. So its heritage is in America. Well, how many engines similar to this one do we guess might have been built in total about the year 1900 through to say 1920? How many do we think?
There's several hundred, wasn't it?
Yeah. This engine was built by the Cagney brothers, who were enterprising Irish Americans who operated in New York just around 1900 and in the years immediately after. And they were brilliant at selling engines like this. And the idea of it was that you bought an engine and you bought a couple of cars, like we've got 2 cars inside the station here. You set them down in a good venue, you went backwards and forwards and you took fares and you would get your money back after the end of the first year. So we think they made around 300 to 600 of these engines. And how many did their nearest rival make, Justin, in the UK?
Well, the nearest rival, they're class 10s, and they made about 6 of them.
We'll put a link to a video that we like about the history of Cagneys in general, and if you want to know more about them, you can look at that. Okay, so this is a very successful locomotive design, and we're saying on our website this was built about 1910. Well, how do we know that?
I don't know, Simon, how do we know that?
Well, I'm afraid the truth is we don't know when it was built, but we know roughly when it was built. It's got under here, the eccentric straps have got the oil pots cast into them, and in the States the earliest engines that have that feature were built about 1910. So we're saying that it was built by the Cagney brothers in their workshop in Jersey City. That's what I'm told by friends in the States, and that about 1910. The Cagneys had various works that produced locomotives for them, but this, by their standards, is a later one. Okay, well, where we know the definite history of it was from 1946, because it was sold to a place called Springs Park in South Carolina, and it was run there by a guy called Elliott White Springs. Well, you can Google for Elliott White Springs, or you can put him in YouTube. He was quite a formidable character, and I'll put a picture of him up on the screen now for you to see. You can see him with our engine, and also with Gypsy Rose Lee, who of course was an interesting character. She was a striptease artist actually, and he was her #1 fan. So we'll put that picture on the screen now for you to see. So it had quite an intriguing and colourful history in the States. Well, Springs Park, the Lancaster and Chester Railway there, this was the small version of the Lancaster and Chester Railway, and there is the full-size short line standard gauge version nearby. which is still operating, and there's a museum at Lancaster on the first floor above the train station, and we've been in correspondence with them recently, haven't we?
Yes.
Yeah, we have. About Elliott White Springs, he was also quite a great humorist, and we'll show you an extract from one of his books now, up on the screen, which is the menu from the Lancaster and Chester Railway restaurant car. You can press pause if you want to read the detail of it, but the funny part about it is that the Lancaster and Chester Railway was an industrial short line, so it didn't have a restaurant car. So this is a great piece of American humour. I hope you enjoy it. The Springs Park Railway, when that was ended, the equipment went to a man called McLaurin in North Carolina, and then I got to hear after McLaurin's death there was an auction of all the railway assets. I got to hear about it from here in the UK, and I bid for this engine blind, and what we ended up with was quite interesting, Justin, wasn't it? Because we didn't end up with a decent boiler, did we? No, sadly not.
Yes, I still remember the way that was described.
No, we got a reasonably complete chassis. It was 16-inch gauge, not 15-inch gauge, so it had to be regauged. But we got most of the cast parts. We didn't get that one. We didn't get that one, and we didn't get this one. Bought those separately from a man called Ken Rhyl, who was making them for people in the States that wanted to make new Cagneys, and some other parts of it, including the injectors, including these side plates, we had to make new. But these are cab sides here, rather nice, and they're original, and they're definitely cast rather than pressed, which shows that they're probably original Cagney parts. Didn't get a tender with it, did we, Justin?
No, we had to have that one made.
Right, and who made that for us?
Steve Bell.
Right.
No relation.
No relation. No. After we bought this engine, various helpers came on board to assist us, and Steve Bell did some engineering for the main parts of the locomotive, and he made the tender completely new, other than the woodwork which Austin Moss made. The bogies and the tender body he made new from drawings that I took of a Cagney tender in the UK at Strumpshaw Hall Steam Museum. And after Steve Bell, Justin, did we have anybody else who helped us?
Oh yes, the very nice Mr. Frank and Mr. Arthur.
Yeah, and what did I say about them the first time they came here to volunteer?
Well, they were in their 70s, and you said they might be able to do a bit of painting.
Yeah. Well, fortunately for me, they were capable of more than painting. When they came here, Frank Humphreys was 78, Arthur Jones was 85, and Arthur had quite a big workshop. He had a forklift truck for moving things around, and he had all manner of machine tools, and both Frank and Arthur's wives had died, so they were looking for a project to undertake, and they sort of adopted us, and it was them that made this engine work. So thank you very much to them. And more recently, we've had the engine overhauled. Where was that?
At Denver Light Railway.
Yeah, a man called Andy Walton has recently overhauled this engine. He's retubed the boiler. He tightened up the motion, which was very worn, because it does go backwards and forwards a lot because the wheels are only rather small. So it has a habit of wearing itself out. Okay. Do you want to show us the injector on that side working, Justin? You take your luck into your own hands.
Yeah. Right.
Kind of the same ending as the first one did.
it's not.
All right. Well, he's got it working. This is a really easy engine to operate, as you can see. It's a piece of cake. No, it isn't. It's actually a bit of a pain in the arse, if we're being truthful. But it does operate in the hands of people who like it. Okay. Okay, that's good. And Justin, how many engines like this are there in the UK at the moment?
Is it 3, 4?
Yeah, there are 4. There's our one, which is kept in steam. Then there's a static one at Strumpshaw Hall Steam Museum in Norfolk. There's one at Richmond Light Railway in Kent that was imported recently from Peru. And then there's another one under somebody's bench that was taken apart. And Justin, why do we keep this thing in steam rather than just having it as a static exhibit?
Because we're the only one that's got one in steam. Makes us unique.
Yeah,
You know, we're the oldest railway. We might as well have the oldest equipment we can have running here.
Yeah, well, that's about right. With this engine, some people love it, and other people either hate it or don't see the point of it. But we love it, and we're going to keep it in steam for as long as we can. It's quite a driver's engine. It always deposits coal dust and oil over whoever's driving it, but it makes a lovely noise whilst it's going along. So we're going to show you that now. Thank you. Well, I hope you enjoyed our video about Cagney number 44 at Rhyl Miniature Railway. And here's today's driver, Ryan Boyd, who's our regular driver here. What do you think of it, Ryan? Do you think it's a load of rubbish?
It's a nice little engine.
What do
Pain in the backside sometimes, but
what do you think about the regulator?
very sensitive.
It is very sensitive. It's a load of rubbish, quite frankly, but it is the original regulator from when the engine was first built. So that's why I love it, and that's why it's still there. I'm afraid we can't invite you to come and ride behind today's train because we ordered this engine in 1910 and we're still waiting for the brakes to arrive. They don't have Cagneys have never supplied any engine with any brakes, but today's train that was videoed did have brakes on the carriages, which is better than nothing. But for that reason, you can't ride on this particular train. What you can do is come to our small engines day when you'll see this engine coupled onto the front of Prince Edward, and you can ride behind it that way. So this is the Cagney. It's a right beast of a little thing. It's very grubby, it's very difficult to handle, quite difficult to maintain, and we all love it. Goodbye until the next video. Bye.